where'd you get those shoes?
I just bought them. Here's my receipt.
He couldn't afford those. He stole them.
I saved for 8 months.
Hands behind your back. You're under arrest.
Joshua Ortega stood at a bus stop in Buckhead, Atlanta, holding a shopping bag from Soul Haven Boutique and feeling like the 8 months of working weekends at a grocery store had finally paid off. He was 17 years old, 3 days away from his 18th birthday, and the limited edition sneakers in that bag represented more than just shoes. They represented hard work, discipline, and a promise kept between him and his parents. He had saved $2,400 from his paychecks. His parents had added $2,600, and together they had given him exactly $5,000 to buy the sneakers he had been researching for months. The receipt in his hand proved every dollar was legitimate. But Jennifer Hayes, a 46-year-old white woman sitting 10 feet away on the same bench, saw a black teenager holding an expensive shopping bag and immediately assumed he had stolen it. She hadn't watched him earn the money. She hadn't seen him maintain a B average to keep his end of the deal. She just saw what she wanted to see. And what she saw confirmed every bias she had ever held. She pulled out her phone and called 911 to report a theft in progress. And when Officer Gary Taylor arrived and Jennifer pointed at Joshua, Taylor didn't ask to see the receipt Joshua was holding. He didn't call the store to verify the purchase. He didn't conduct even the most basic investigation. He just looked at Joshua's worn clothes, listened to Jennifer's accusation, and made a decision that would destroy his career and cost Jennifer $280,000. Before we continue, hit that subscribe button and drop a like. Let me know in the comments, what city or country are you watching from? What Officer Gary Taylor didn't know was that Cordell Lopez, the store employee who had sold Joshua those sneakers 23 minutes earlier, was still inside Soul Haven Boutique finishing his shift. That Cordell would hear the commotion outside, look through the window, and recognize the teenager he had just helped. That Cordell would run out to intervene and confirm the purchase was legitimate. And that when Taylor grabbed Cordell's phone and deleted the video evidence, he would mention that the store owner, Michael Barnes, a wealthy black businessman with a reputation for destroying racist cops through expensive lawsuits, owned not just this store, but 4 others across Atlanta, and that Barnes had successfully sued the Atlanta Police Department twice before. What Jennifer Hayes didn't know was that her pattern of calling police on black and Latino people for imaginary crimes had finally caught up with her, that her previous complaints in her old neighborhood had been documented and would be discovered, that her 911 call would be recorded and played in court, and that her jealousy, because she had been in that same store an hour earlier and couldn't afford the sneakers she wanted to buy for her own son, would be the evidence that proved racial bias and would cost her everything. Joshua Ortega had been planning this purchase for 8 months. He was 17 years old, a senior at North Atlanta High School, and the sneakers he wanted weren't just any sneakers. They were a limited edition collaboration between a famous designer and a legendary athlete, released in quantities so small that only a few hundred pairs existed in a size anywhere in the country. The price was $5,000, an amount that would have been completely impossible for Joshua to afford on his own. But his parents had made him a deal at the beginning of his senior year. If he maintained a B average or higher in all his classes, if he kept his part-time job at the grocery store without quitting, and if he saved as much money as he could from his paychecks, they would contribute the difference he needed to buy the sneakers for his 18th birthday.